Hello, my beautiful people. Please ignore the lighting. I'm working on trying to figure it all out. I am in front of a window, and for some reason, Jesus Christ, the sun. It's early morning. The sun's rising. We like the sun. We love the sun. The sun's here for us. We like the sun. Okay. So, we're going to get into this wonderful video that I am basically going to make a series on the English language because I have so much information. And I want to thank the person that voted on this. This is a democracy. They said what they wanted, and I'm going to give that one person what they wanted. And thank you for the vote. And so we're going to get into it. The dictionary used to be just some guy's opinion. Let's get into it right now. Upon the screen, you see a definition. I'm going to read it for you. It says oats with an S. That's going to mean something later. Just stick with me. Oats, a grain in which England is generally given to horses, but in Scotland supports the people. Like I said, this was just some guy's opinion in a dictionary on the authority of the English language because, sir, you put that in the dictionary? That is the definition from Samuel Johnson's 1755 Dictionary of the English Language. The dictionary, the one that was considered the authority on the English language for over 150 years. So when somebody was like, what are oats with an S, stay with me, with an S. And this man looked at the word oats and thought about it and decided the definition, and I am quoting, a grain in which England it is generally given to horses, but in Scotland it supports the people. If you from Scotland, what you think that mean? What you think that mean if you was from Scotland and this man put in his dictionary what he think oats does for you and your people? You'd be a little upset. That is not a definition. This man was roasting these people. This is a century old roast of an entire country published in the most authoritarian reference book of the English language. And this was not by accident. This was not a typo. This was this man's opinion, and he put it in the dictionary and he called it scholarship. Like I said in my last video, don't let nobody tell you you can't be great. You can actually write your own dictionary right now. Will people take your full word on it? I don't know, but you can do whatever you like. I said, go be great. And we need to talk about who actually wrote the dictionary and why we ever trusted this man in the first place. I didn't do anything. I was just given this language and given the dictionary and told, hey, these are the words, this is the language, this so, and why they ever trusted him with the dictionary that he wrote. Let's get into Samuel Johnson himself, the man, the petty, the legend. Samuel Johnson spent 9 years writing the dictionary of the English language. It was published in 1755, 40,000 words, 114,000 quotations as example. So before Johnson, there was no standardized English dictionary. You could spell however you wanted. I know if some of y'all watched my old video, my last video in the history of English was like, but you said, yeah, that don't mean everybody was still, remember Shakespeare? He wasn't following the rules. He was just doing stuff. Remember? Anyway, before the standardized English dictionary, you could spell however you wanted. Words meant whatever people in the town agreed they meant. If I am from here and you are from there and you use a word, it's like, that don't mean that. And it'd be like, yeah, it does. But in my town, this is what this means. And in this town, we do that today. Still, today we do that today. It meant whatever everybody in the town agreed it meant. It was basically total chaos. I don't think it was total chaos. I think somebody just needed control. And it was like, all these words just need one meaning. But anyway, I digress. I'm going to keep going. So Johnson, he fixed it, which was genuinely important. I have to admit, it was kind of impressive. And then he put his whole personality in this dictionary. I want to give you some definitions from this dictionary that he wrote. Yes, you can look this up online. It's right there. You can go in, you can type in different words and see what they meant in that time era. But I'm going to give you a few right now. Here is how he defined lexicographer. If you don't know what that is someone who writes a dictionary. This man defined himself, a dictionary writer, in his own dictionary as a harmless drudge. he called himself useless in his own dictionary that took him 9 years to write. I want to know his thought behind that, because you wrote it, you defined it, you defined what you do as useless. So you mean to tell me we don't need none of this? That's how I pick it. That's what I'm picking up. We don't need none of this. Anyway, he defined pension, here it is, pension, as pay given to a state hireling for treason to his own country. Then later in life, Johnson accepted a pension from the king. It's the audacity for me, it's the full-fledged audacity of this man and this dictionary. Here's another one. He defined excise, a tax, this is a tax, as a hateful tax levied upon commodities and adjudged not by the common judges of property, but wretches, hired by those to whom excise is paid. To me, that just means this tax is a tax paid to people to basically just go and collect the tax. But it's not, I don't know if you look, he didn't like it. He didn't like the Anyway, I want to say that is not a definition. That's basically a political manifesto that he put in the dictionary, his own political whatever. He didn't like the tax. Somebody was taxing people, and that tax was just paid for the tax to collect the extra taxes. I don't know. Tell me what it means, what you think it means down in the comments, and I'll like the best one. I'm probably gonna like all of them, but either way, it ain't gotta be right. You can be a little, crazy, whatever you want. It's your world. I'm just living it. Anyway, and he defined oat. Remember I said the S, oat, O-A-T, singular this time, as a simple grain that was clean, that was professional, it was neutral. But oats with an S, the plural. That's when Scotland catches those hands from that man. I just want to be like, I probably do know what was going on between them and Scotland at the time. Here's the thing. Johnson was brilliant. He was well read, genuinely one of the most important figures in English literature history. He knew what he was doing. He wasn't confused. He was just like this. You meet some people who would be like, what's wrong with him? Like, that's just what he was. That's just how he is. He had opinions. He wrote them down. He called it a dictionary. And for the next 150 years, nobody had a better option. So they just went with it. They had nothing else to go on. I'm pretty sure this man was just angry and was like, y'all want to know something? He wrote it down. He was like, y'all want to know something? I'm going to tell you what it is. And he just put his full-fledged anger, personality, thoughts, everything into that dictionary. Anyway, we're going to move on. Chapter 3. And this is Noah Webster. And I called this chapter The American Spite. And you'll know soon why I did that. So let's fast forward to America, 1783. We just won our independence from Britain. Not me, but they just won their independence from Britain. Everyone was feeling themselves. And Noah Webster, a school teacher from Connecticut, decides America needs its own dictionary. America has always decided they needed their own thing, but the English language. We're going to keep going. Anyway, decided they needed their own dictionary. Not just because Johnson's was British, because Webster wanted American English to look different on purpose, visibly and aggressively different. Hence, aggressively different. I mean that. He did. He didn't just want a new dictionary. He wanted a statement. So what did he do? He changed the spellings. Not because they were wrong, not because the new spelling made more sense, but because he just wanted to prove a point that they weren't British anymore. This man, Mr. Webster, was like, we ain't British no more. We not gonna do none of this. He simply changed the spelling of words because he wanted it to look different from the British language. Y'all know some of these words. I'm going to give you an example of some of these words. Color. C-O-L-O-U-R became color. C-O-L-O-R. Then we have favorite with the U became favorite without the U. Theater, T-H-E-A-T-R-E became theater, T-H-E-A-T-E-R. That was completely unnecessary to me. That was full unnecessary. Catalog became catalog. Honor became honor. And music, this one was new to me. I did not know this one. This is why you always deep dive and find information. Music, music, became music, music. He dropped the U. He dropped letters, specifically letters that look French. Remember my last video? That K in music? It's probably French. Anyway, he dropped words that looked French or British as a political statement about American identity. And that sounds like the most American thing to me if I have heard anything. It's like putting hot dogs on fireworks and letting it explode. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep going. That was a weird statement, but it's true. But it gets pettier. Webster literally traveled door to door collecting American words and pronunciations. He interviewed farmers, fishermen, and merchants. He was building his case that American English was its own legit thing, not a broken version of British English. He published his first dictionary in 1806. His big comprehensive one was in 1828, and that one had 70,000 words. The average American knows roughly 42,000 words. From the age of 20 to 60, you learn more. You learn about 6,000 more words. And if you're highly educated, it's around 40 to 60,000 words. He published 70,000 words, but we're going to get into a lot more as we keep talking about this because you're going to understand what I mean. Anyway, American spelling isn't simpler because Americans are lazy. It's just true. It's not because we're lazy. It's simply because one petty man in Connecticut decided in 1806 that he was done using the letter U. I have a video on letters coming, and that's very interesting, and you're going to want to hear it. Trust me. So stay tuned. This is a full series. I got 3 more videos on this. Remember you watched my first video, you seen all that information I put down there. You think I only got 2 videos out of this? You are insane. We're going to keep going. Keep going. He was done with the letter U, and we have been spelling it his way ever since. So when you see color with a U, and everybody's like, why do U.S. citizens, U.S. Americans don't spell color with the U? Is because of the weird American spirit of being its own thing. He's like, we don't need that U. It's just COLOR. It's not us. It's not me. It's that guy. So blame him. It's Webster, Noah Webster. He did it. So he put his grudge in the dictionary and it stuck. Chapter 3. The war that never ended. This is one of my favorite things. This is my favorite. And a lot of y'all gonna feel personal about this. Okay, so here's where it gets very, 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 very personal. Anyway, there are 2 types of people who care about language, and they genuinely cannot stand each other. Everybody in the world are these 2 types of people, either here or either here. One is a prescriptivist. I love what is a prescriptivist, and are you one? Here we go. These are the people who believe there is a correct way to use language and it is their personal responsibility to enforce it. They will correct your grammar in casual conversation. They have opinions about split infinitives. They are upset that the word they, can be singular, and they believe the dictionary should tell people how to speak. I hate you. I hate those people. I can't stand you people. Because every time somebody gives an argument about something, especially those keyboard warriors online, they be typing away, and then you give a real argument, and they be like, you spelt this wrong, because they don't have an argument, because all they care about is English. If I can understand your message and it's broken English or broken language, and I get the message and be like, you know what, you're right, but you can't, because all you care about is English and the spelling and the language. I'm not apologizing. I don't like you. Descriptivists, either this one. These are the people who believe the dictionary should record how people actually use the language, not how someone thinks they should be. When enough people use a word in a certain way, that's what it means now. Language changes. The dictionary takes notes. That's how I feel about that. I'm most definitely the second one. If you're a prescriptivist, I would say good on you, but I don't think that. Most modern dictionaries are largely descriptive. They watch how words are actually being used and update accordingly. This was my definition because I remember this. I remember this because it made the news. If you remember, in 2013, Webster added a second definition for the word literally. I remember this. I remember this. The new definition, used for emphasis or to express strong feelings while not being literally true. Meaning, yes, literally can now officially mean figuratively. And those prescriptivist people lost their gosh darn minds. They did. And I'm going to tell you, if you're one of those people, why you were wrong to lose your mind. They said, how dare they? The dictionary is supposed to protect the language. This is betrayal. And this is the end of meaning itself. You guys are being dramatic. You're being dramatic. And I'm going to show you how you're being dramatic. So here's the thing. People have been using literally in their intensifier since at least the 1700s. Charles Dickinson did it. F. Scott Fitzgerald did it. If you watch Ted 2, F. Scott Fitzgerald, that scene is the funniest scene to me because I feel like Ted made a full point. It's like, what is he hiding? What's that? Like, anyway, I'm going to keep going. Charlotte Burnett did it. So you have 3 authors from the 1700s who's been using the word literally as an intensifier for the longest. Anyway, their perspective weren't protecting one ancient pure form of the word. They were protecting a preference that was already being ignored for 300 years. There you go. I showed you how you were wrong. Anyway, the dictionary didn't get it wrong. Language changed. The dictionary recorded the change. That's literally, and I mean that in both ways, what it's supposed to do. Sometimes people like to put labels on themselves, and you just a human. Like, I'm just a person. I just like out here doing stuff, trying to experience. But I will take that I am a descriptive person over a prescriptive person. I said it. The dictionary feels like authority because it's a book and it feels permanent, feels official, feels objective. But every dictionary ever written was a snapshot of one moment filtered through the opinions, the politics, the personal vendettas. Scotland, I'm sorry you took that L back then, but good Lord, y'all should have wrote your own dictionary and was talking about them folks with England. Everybody should. I'm gonna keep going. Filtered through opinions, the politics, the personal vendettas, and the nationality of whoever wrote it. Johnson was petty about Scotland, Webster was petty about Britain, and the perspectives were petty about everyone who uses a word differently than they do. You're not the authorities, my perspectives. The dictionary was never neutral. It was never objective. It was always just some guy's opinions and thoughts and pettiness and weirdness throughout history. And these were very confident men with a quill and, like I said, a lot of friggin' opinions. So anyway, as always, as I say, stay curious, stay skeptical, and remember, someone decided what words meant, and it wasn't you. Bye.